Welcome to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, a small town etched into the pages of history as the site of one of the most brutal and decisive battles of the American Civil War. Over 3 days in July of 1863, the fields around this quiet town saw unimaginable horrors. More than 50,000 men lost their lives, were wounded, or went missing. The ground itself soaked in blood. And to this day, the dead remain. Bound to this place, haunted by the past, they can never escape. But Gettysburg's story goes beyond the battlefield and deep into the realms of the supernatural. Many believe this hallowed ground to be one of the most haunted places in America, where the ghosts of soldiers and civilians alike linger, unable to find peace. The Battle of Gettysburg was the turning point in the Civil War, a battle that broke the Confederacy's momentum and dashed General Robert E. Lee's hopes of invading the North. But victory came at a terrible cost. The sheer number of deaths created an air of devastation, the pain of which still lingers today. Many soldiers, Union and Confederate alike, never left this battlefield. As the town rebuilt, so too did the stories of ghostly encounters. From the very first days after the battle, locals reported strange happenings, unexplained sights, sounds, and eerie feelings that they couldn't shake. Today, paranormal investigators and ghost hunters from all over the world flock to Gettysburg, drawn by its reputation as a hotspot for supernatural activity. Gettysburg is not just a place of historical importance, it is a living, breathing entity, alive with the energy of the souls who once fought and died here. Let's take a closer look at some of the most haunted places in Gettysburg, starting with one of the most famous, Devil's Den. Devil's Den, a place of brutal combat during the second day of battle. Here, soldiers fought hand-to-hand in vicious skirmishes, and many died among these jagged rocks. It's said that their spirits remain, forever wandering, lost among the boulders. Visitors often speak of feeling an overwhelming sense of dread as they approach. The air feels heavier here, as though the rocks themselves are imbued with the violence of the past. Many have reported seeing the spectral figure of a Confederate soldier, sometimes sitting, sometimes wandering. Descriptions of him are always the same: ragged clothes, a slouch hat, a sorrowful expression as he stares out over the battlefield. But it's not just sightings. Cameras and electronic equipment often malfunction here. Photographers have reported taking pictures, only to find strange orbs or misty figures appearing in their photos later. Others claim to hear disembodied voices, whispers of orders, or the faint echo of a long-ago battle cry. One story speaks of a group of tourists who, while exploring Devil's Den, were approached by a ragged man who told them to go over there. When they looked back to thank him, he had vanished. Was it just a reenactor, or something more otherworldly? The Wheatfield is another site drenched in blood. Over 4,000 soldiers were killed or wounded in just a few short hours here, making it one of the deadliest locations on the battlefield. The sheer scale of death in this field is said to have left a permanent scar on the land. Visitors often report seeing strange mists that seem to rise from the ground itself, forming into the shapes of soldiers, only to disappear seconds later. Ghost hunters have recorded the sounds of musket fire, distant screams, and the rhythmic beat of a drum, as if the battle is still raging in some otherworldly dimension, just beyond our own. Little Round Top was the site of another intense battle, where Union soldiers held their ground against repeated Confederate assaults. Today, visitors to this hilltop report hearing gunshots and the sound of bayonets clashing, even when the battlefield is empty. But perhaps the most unnerving stories come from those who claim to have encountered the ghost of Colonel Strong Vincent, the Union officer who was mortally wounded defending this very spot. Dressed in his Civil War uniform, he's said to appear to park rangers and visitors alike, always with the same message: hold this ground. Just as he commanded his men during the battle, even in death, he seems determined to defend Little Round Top. The Gettysburg National Cemetery is where thousands of soldiers were laid to rest, and it's the site of President Abraham Lincoln's famous Gettysburg Address. But even here, where peace should reign, there are reports of strange phenomena. Some visitors claim to see floating orbs of light moving among the gravestones, while others hear faint whispers or the sound of footsteps echoing on the paths. Perhaps the most eerie tale is of the Union soldier who is often seen standing watch over the graves. Dressed in his uniform, He seems to be forever guarding the resting place of his comrades. Not all of Gettysburg's ghost stories come from the battlefield. The Gettysburg Orphanage has a dark and twisted history all its own. After the battle, many children orphaned by the war were sent here, but instead of safety, they found cruelty. The orphanage was run by a heartless matron who subjected the children to severe punishment, and some say the spirits of those mistreated children still haunt the building. Visitors have reported hearing the sound of children crying, footsteps running down hallways, and even the distant sound of a whip cracking. Some claim to feel cold hands grabbing at them in the darkness. Gettysburg is more than just a battlefield. It's a place where the past and the present blur, where the dead walk among the living. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the stories from Gettysburg offer a chilling reminder of the toll war takes on the human soul. This town is forever marked by the pain, suffering, and sacrifice of those who fought here, and for some, their spirits will never truly leave. So, if you ever visit Gettysburg, be prepared. You might just come face to face with the echoes of its haunted past. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Gettysburg's haunted history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more spine-tingling tales from the shadows of history. Until next time, stay curious and stay cautious.